Hey there Rangers, it's me, Kato Genesis, with some tips for getting started in Wasteland 3, and I am so excited to return to the Wasteland franchise and see so many people trying it for the first time. I did a few videos on Wasteland 2 in 2015, but now we're back, yes! And I hope to do at least a couple of these, one before I beat the game and one afterwards. So we might as well get into those tips. Here's this many things I wish I knew when I first began playing Wasteland 3. Just like the Witcher 3 tips videos, it's not required to play previous Wasteland games to get enjoyment out of Wasteland 3. The beginning cutscenes and the introductory parts of the game do go over the important bits of the Rangers and why they're in Colorado. Why you're in Colorado. This is a role-playing game after all. If you have played the previous games, some NPCs will be returning characters from the Arizona wastes. So it has a nice balance being approachable for new players, and returning veterans will be able to appreciate some of the callbacks and additions referencing the previous games. Your Rangers operate as a team of specialists, unlike a broad-skilled main character in other role-playing games. I was even reminded of this pretty early when I started spreading skill points more than I should. So if you get the idea that you're going to try to max out every skill on your starting duo, you're not going to have an easy time. Your squad will operate better if each character has 3 to 4 skills they're good at rather than 5 to 7 skills they're not so good at. As far as I can tell, any tactical turn-based RPG or RPG in general that has an animal-related skill is usually a pretty cool skill, and I want to draw attention to the Animal Whisperer skill, which is in Wasteland 3. This is used to tame various animals you find throughout the Wasteland, and if successful, this animal will follow that character until excused or killed, and grant a buff while they are traveling with that character. Furry, feathery, or scaly companions that join the squad can also contribute to the fight itself. One more body on the field doesn't hurt you, that is. And when excused, animal companions tend to hang out where you leave them. So if you're curious about what kind of benefits a nearby animal grants, excuse your current one and they'll wait patiently if you plan to take them back. In Fallout and previous Wasteland games, intelligence would directly affect how many skill points you gain per level. Wasteland 3 chucked that out the window, so I'm going to try to explain how intelligence works in this game. And it does say in character creation, but I still had questions after reading that small description. Each time a character in your squad levels up, they will have a flat 3 points to spend on skills. So you can expect on a level up, for everybody, 3 skill points are gained. Intelligence does not permanently add to these 3 points. Instead, intelligence grants a one-time 1 skill point boost for every 2 points of intelligence. So if you're at 2 intelligence, you gain a skill point. 4 intelligence, 1 skill point, and so on until you reach 10, after which you would have gained 5 one-time bonus skill points. So the max skill points that intelligence can grant you is just 5. So unless modified by something else, characters still upon level up will only earn 3 skill points per level. So I would also like to point out the Poindexter quirk that you can choose in character creation. If you're going for skill points, this is what you'll want more than just pumping your raw intelligence. Poindexter reduces the overall constitution your character will be gaining, but grants 1 extra skill point every 2 levels. This is not at all to diminish the importance of the intelligence attribute. Intelligence still increases your critical chance and gives mild increases to critical damage. So I hope I explained that well. Intelligence in Wasteland 3 is weird and not what's expected. The 29 skills in Wasteland 2 were thankfully consolidated into 22 skills in Wasteland 3. Several were combined or just converted to something else. So just as an example, instead of needing to spend skill points on submachine guns and assault rifles, we can just have the automatic weapon skill that includes both. First Aid, fortunately, was one of these combinations too, which was previously First Aid and Surgeon. Now it's just First Aid that deals with healing and curing ailments. Some of these new and improved skills have some fun synergies thanks to their perks too. I was surprised to see that Big Guns and Toaster Repair can go together pretty well, because they have some perk crossover if you're using flame-based weapons. I already went over that it's wonderful that the First Aid and Surgeon skills have been combined, but on the topic of doctors, use them if they are nearby. Healing equipment is still expensive, and you will save your squad so much money if you pay a doctor instead to heal your squad and remove ailments. This was so weird to get used to. Reviving a teammate when they're down doesn't cost anything besides AP. When a teammate does get revived though, they may have an injury like bleeding, crippled limbs, etc. that reduces their effectiveness for that fight, and should be addressed before the next one. Now, if the revival timer runs out before you reach them, they become incapacitated for that fight completely, or killed if you have permadeath mode on. But again, getting a character up from down status only requires AP. It's super weird, but also nice. Among the skills that got a facelift, both sneaking and perception do not have to be activated, and instead are automatic. For sneaking, enemies instead have a detection radius that will show up when your characters are just outside of detection range. And the higher the ranger's skill is in sneaky shit, the longer it will take enemies to be alerted by them. Perception, on the other hand, again, something you don't have to toggle anymore, can reveal secret passages, traps, and treasures. Having at least one detector character will make assessing combat situations before you engage a bit more creative because you'll have more options. What raises your perception stat is the awareness attribute and the sneaky shit skill. It's safe to say these two go hand in hand. So if your character build is reflecting awareness or the sneaky shit skill, I say why not both on one specialist, because synergy like this is hard to resist. So quick slots are weird. I don't know if this is going to change after launch, but as of the release of this video, items can be swapped out of the quick slots with no penalty during combat. I thought there was going to be some sort of AP penalty accessing your inventory. Nope, not at all. Thanks to combat in Wasteland 3 being turn-based, you have all the time in the world to decide what you want to use from your quick slot items. I guess these are more treated as like an extended hotbar or something, but there's also perks that increase the amount of quick slots. How I see it is sifting through menus less shouldn't really be a perk, but maybe I'm just missing something here. Continuing from the previous topic, something else that is quite unusual in Wasteland 3 is after reaching level 3 and onwards, you get an attribute point to spend every level. So if you are using these level ups to raise your intelligence and it happens to end up on an even number, you will get a one-time bonus skill point to spend. If you're not sure where to throw that bonus attribute point when you get it, I would like to suggest coordination. Similar to agility in the Fallout games, coordination in Wasteland 3 raises your character's max AP every 2 points, making it one of, if not the most important attribute in the game. When in doubt, go with coordination. When your squad is about to use skills to disarm traps, pick locks, disable security, make dialogue checks, and so on, success and failure are now shown beforehand based on the level of skill instead of using a percentage chance. This is a nice change in Wasteland 3 since you'll be able to scan rooms more easily to determine if you'll be able to get over these hurdles, have to find another route, or need to come back later. We don't need to save scum as much if we know we're gonna fail at something. Wasteland 3 has a highlight objects button, which helps you sweep rooms of lootable objects you may have otherwise missed. It's the shift key by default on PC, I changed mine to Alt, but whatever your platform, take note of this function. You should be able to find it in your key bindings or button layout. This one makes me love modern gaming in general. Your squad's inventory, including ammo, is pooled together. You don't have to go through each individual character's inventory, it's all there on screen. And there also doesn't seem to be carry weight at all, so you can carry as much as you want. The reason I bring up the blessing of pooled inventory is that it can also be a curse in some cases. Ammunition is generally scarce in Wasteland 3, and because of the rarity of ammunition, it's generally a good idea to diversify weapons between your squad. Because if 3 of your rangers are running around with assault rifles, and they're all grabbing ammo from the same bag, one of these 3 might completely run out of ammo thanks to the other 2 reloading. Having a diverse team with weapons of every type helps this a lot. As long as you have this in mind when you pay a visit to local merchants, checking on ammo and medicine reserves is a good first priority. When you're in character creation in Wasteland 3, you don't have to worry too much about the cosmetic stuff because you can actually swap it out once you establish Ranger HQ. This includes hair, beard, helmet, jacket, pants, armor color, and portrait. Unfortunately, you're stuck with the face. Basic recruits can fill out your squad and can be useful after you've claimed your headquarters. From Sergei Greitsky's recruits selection, you can choose a pre-made character or create and customize a brand new one for your squad. They also scale to your party's average level when hired. However, recruits through this system are fill-ins instead of active story characters, If you're looking for more diversity, interaction, and backstory, companions you find out in the field will be far more interesting and helpful than one of Greatski's recruits. Do keep in mind though that these companions you do find out in the field also have their own alignment and motives. So if they don't like how you're doing things, they can ditch the team in a heartbeat. Some of them are kind enough to give a warning first. And one last thing, once your squad is full, and you wish to recruit somebody you just ran into in the field, you can do so and excuse the one that they replaced, and the one you dropped from the team, if on good terms, will end up back at Ranger HQ and can be swapped in and out with Sergei Greatski too. Perks have more of a presence in Wasteland 3 than the previous title, and lots of fun peek and poke illustrations. Props to the artists. Anyway, perks are unlocked after you reach certain thresholds in each skill. This lets your characters specialize further, like specialists. These perks can result in active or passive abilities, and what I learned after reaching the second perk point to spend on a character, prior perks in that row are not required. So if you're looking at the third perk in a row and haven't unlocked any of the other ones, you can just get that third perk. Don't have to get the previous two. There's also nothing stopping you from planning ahead, because the effects of perks aren't hidden in each row. You can actually look at the perks you're going to unlock eventually. So you can, in essence, save up your perk points until that skill has reached where you want it to, and then start investing. And about investing. Skill books are in Wasteland 3 as well. And I hope somebody corrects me on this if I'm wrong. I believe there is one for each skill in Wasteland 3. What I recommend with skill books is saving them until later in skill mastery when the skill point costs hit 4. So by waiting on using skill books, you'll be saving more skill points in the long run through level ups. If you have been diving into Wasteland 3 as I have, there's plenty to learn about it, so if you have some tips and tricks you'd like to share, please do so in the comments. If you found this useful, entertaining, or both, please do whatever it is you see fit to show that, and one that I would appreciate so much is checking out the Patreon page, patreon.com/catogenesis. Pledging as little as $1 puts you on the on-screen credits and gives you access to monthly updates where I share embarrassing stories. Speaking of, thank you so much to my patrons, including Wasteland Legend Sven. Thank you for watching. I'm Catogenesis, and may you wander the wasteland like you own it.